start with the introduction. So this series, our the previous series for these classes was on medicines and everything related to medicines, and then we ended up that series at gene therapy and the future of medicines, which is like called the personalized medicine, where your treatment is not symptomatic but actually based on the genetics, right? All of you have, like, I think, did you completed the series or you missed some classes? Anyone who missed anything or joined late?
Sir, I did the first two classes. बाकी तो किया है.
Okay. So a lot of things that we discussed in the last series was regarding a lot of drugs, for different kind of diseases caused by different pathogens and vectors. So this series is based on biomolecules and their interactions in a biological system and their evolution. Like, everything was not set up as it is right from the beginning, things evolved. So this series is very important from both the perspectives. One, so these are some high advanced concepts that we will be learning. These concepts are applied in research and are asked in entrance exams of medical and any other entrance exam that you're going to give for your masters in research and things. So this is going to be beneficial for all of you, even for your entrances and from the point of view of knowledge. And if you end up doing research, it's going to help you. So we will proceed, like, the plan will be same. We'll proceed from the basics and we'll go to higher end concepts, and we will ask some questions that are currently not answered or that have been recently answered, which are the recent trends in biology, which is also the highlight of this series. Okay, so we'll proceed like that. Is it fine? Okay. So you have to, because we are going to understand about the interactions of biomolecules, so you also have to interact a lot. Otherwise you will, so you're not going to just get some things to learn and remember. You're going to understand some concepts of biology and chemistry. So chemistry is also, uh, chemistry will also be a very important subject here for this series. Biochemistry, organic chemistry, and evolutionary biology. So let's begin the series. So tell me, what do you understand by biomolecules? This is also one of your chapters of NCRT, very introductory in your class 11, 12. But still, have you studied something about biomolecules in class 9, 10th? Have you been introduced to it?
In 11th, sir, not in 19th, I guess.
Yes. So before 11th, in 9, 10th, you know nothing about biomolecules. What do you think are biomolecules?
Molecules found in the organism's body to help run its metabolic activities.
Molecules found in metabolic activities in organisms or in living cells. So what are not biomolecules? There's any molecule which you know which is not found in living system? Anyone? Because the word bio means life or living, so it is in living systems, of course. So what is a molecule which you know but is not found in living systems? Anyone?
Molecular element.
Molecules, we're talking about biomolecules. So element is different. Like, there are elements arranged in a periodic table. Many of these elements you will not find inside human cells. you know like radium is not present in our cells normally. But we are talking about molecules here. You know what are molecules, right? Group of atoms of these elements. So any molecule you are aware about, but you know that it's not found in living system. Anyone? If you do not know any such molecule, you can say no.
No,
No.
sir.
So Harshit, it's isn't it interesting that every molecule you have read till now is actually a biomolecule only? That's why we read it. But of course, there must be molecules which are not biomolecules, right? That's why biomolecule is a term.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So let's just begin. Let me prune you into how we are going to proceed and how we are trying to understand these concepts. So let's begin with a very simple example. Like you must have heard this term glucose. You know what is glucose? Come on, glucose you have studied.
The formula or what it is actually?
What it is, like formula is, you don't eat formula, right? You eat glucose. Formula has been assigned by us when we study science. So we have not reached there where we are studying glucose yet. I'm just asking, what is glucose? What do you understand by glucose? You can give me a definition which is not in the book also, what you understand of it.
Energy providing molecule.
Energy providing molecule. For who? For whom it provides energy?
The cells.
All cells?
No.
Which cells? So when you say energy providing molecule, it sounds to me like this is one universal molecule in the universe that provides energy to the cells. Is it true?
No, sir.
No. Then for whom it is energy providing molecule?
Living cells.
Living cells. A bacteria, a neuron, a liver cell, a hair follicle, all these are living cells. So every living cell on the planet utilize glucose.
No, I don't think so.
Harshit doesn't think so. What do you think, Sanchi? Does it provide, do you think it's provide energy to every living cell?
No.
No. Do you know of any example where glucose is not utilized?
So germ cells?
Germ cells. Germ cells means the germs, you're talking about bacteria or the
No,
germ,
no, 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 no.
germ
But
cell
then no.
related to humans?
Yes, sir. Please repeat. I could not get it.
Okay,
Sir, what did you
yes.
say? Yes.
I was asking what germ cell. You use the term germ cell. So is it the germs or the germ cell? You know,
No, 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 no. The sperms and the sperms basically.
sperms basically. Yes, right. So sperms do not utilize glucose. What do they utilize?
Fructose.
Fructose. What is fructose?
Uh, it's in function. It's an isomer of glucose, but not actually glucose.
It is another energy providing molecule in your terms, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So fructose is another energy providing molecule. But when we say energy providing molecules, do we actually understand the concept of energy production or not is important. So fructose can be used in sperms to produce energy, right? So what about glucose? So first of all, we are going to cover right from the basics every complex details about biomolecules, okay? Because that if you prepare this series properly, you're going to be very sure about a lot of marks in entrances as well as a lot of concepts if you go into research. So when I say glucose, let's go with the formula. Now tell me the formula because there's a lot of to learn from the formula also, Harshit. You use the yes.
Sir, C6H12O6.
Yes, this is something everyone remember. C6H12O6. What does it mean? So this is the molecular formula, right?
Yes, sir.
There is something which is also asked, which is called the empirical formula. You know what is empirical formula?
Yes, sir. The basic ratios of the elements in the form in the
Yes.
molecule.
Empirical formula is the ratio of the elements. So empirical formula for this will be
1:2 ratio.
CH2O, right?
Yes.
Because there is what does empirical formula tells us? Like what do you know about this?
For what parts of element A we need parts of element B in a formula.
It tells us how much, like in a proportion, what proportion of one element is present with respect to other in a chemical, in a molecule. So two proportions of hydrogen is present with as compared to one proportion of carbon and oxygen in glucose. But empirical formula for more than one substances can be same, right?
Yes, sir.
Because it's just the ratio. So for that matter, CH2O or CH3O can in itself be a chemical formula or a molecular formula for some compounds. So it is not specific, like it is not unique. Unique is the molecular formula, and sometimes molecular formulas are also not unique because the way they are arranged, the way how 6 carbon and 6 oxygen are arranged in a molecule also changes the molecule. There might be 6 carbon, 6 oxygen, and 12 hydrogen, but arranged in a different form. So in case of glucose, there is no such known stable biological example, but it is possible for other molecules. That is what I'm telling you. Okay. So this is more of a unique identity than empirical formula, and even this has exceptions. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So what is unique? What gives them their function? What gives every molecule its complete identity, which is unique, which has no
It's
exception?
structure.
Exactly. That is structure. In biology, structure means everything. Okay. Structures are much more governing the dynamics of every molecule than the formula or any chemical composition of it. So when we talk about structure of glucose, it has 6 carbon and 6 oxygen. So anyone who knows, just tell me yes or no. Do you know the structure of these molecules? Any molecule, biomolecules? Because structures are very tedious to learn. No one wants to learn structures, but structures are important.
So they're basically cyclic compounds.
Yeah,
Cyclic in
glucose is cyclic. Cyclic means it forms a closed chain, but all the 6 carbons are not in the chain. So there is one carbon which is outside, and then there are 6. So these are 6 carbons, and then there is one oxygen. Is it clear? So this is the structure of glucose, and we have CH2OH here. So you can also open this up. If I open this up, it's simple. So you just have to know what kind of bonds a carbon forms. So how many, what is the valency of carbon? This you have read in 10th.
4.
4, right? So on one side it will be having OH, on the other two sides it will be having hydrogen. So CH2OH, and at every C here, because 3 valencies, so for this carbon 3 valencies are already taken, right? So this carbon will only have one hydrogen. Okay. Whereas for other carbons, there are only 2 valencies taken. So they will have one OH and one H at every place. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So why I'm making this structure? Because you will get to know now. Now, so this is one structure of a glucose. Now, if you imagine it is in 3D, so only this cyclic chain is in one plane. When I say one plane, if you see your palm is on one plane, your hand, okay, that is your palm is in one plane, and everything going up and down from that plane is out of plane. So only this chain is in the plane, this cyclic structure here. Everything is either popping up or going down. You understand? So OH is either up or it's down into the plane, into the paper. You understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, why are we discussing structure? Because structures are very important for interactions. Whenever we talk about interactions, and interactions are very important part of biomolecules, because whatever they are because of their interactions. Now, let's first in general know things about glucose. कहाँ कहाँ पढ़ा है आपने glucose? What it is important for? Is it important for us?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Sir, it provides energy. Yeah, sir, it's also used in sir respiration.
It provides
Energy.
energy. Perfect. It provides energy. Good. But how does it provides energy?
Sir, helps in converting the ATP to ATP. Oh, sorry, ATP to ADP.
No, that is not what glucose does. Glucose has nothing with ATPs actually, because we study it in a cycle where we know that glucose is broken down into pyruvates and ATPs are produced, but production of ATP is a completely different, untouched phenomena related to glycolysis, but not a part of glycolysis. Glycolysis is the first step. So you know about respiration, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what happens in respiration? I ask this question again and again so that hardwired in your brains. Yes. What happens?
There are 6 carbon molecule is broken into 3 carbon molecule.
What is that six carbon molecule?
Uh,
Yes. Yes, Arpit.
or glucose.
Exactly. That six carbon molecule is this only. So we in our normal cells utilize glucose and break down into 2 3 carbon molecules, which is called pyruvate. And this whole process gives us some ATPs. Okay. But we'll understand how it happens. So everything about biomolecules we are going to cover in this series. But one thing which we do not know by reading from textbooks is the interactions. We never know about the interactions, how it is happening. We just know that it is happening. But how it is happening, how it evolved, we don't know, right? So let's just first know some basics about glucose. So I'll just go to this page. I'll come back to that page to know the basics. So glucose is important physiologically for humans, and a lot of questions in need, because you will be aiming to become a doctor. You should know what is. So when it is in the blood, so when we eat food, we absorb glucose out of that food from our intestines and send it into the blood, right? The term glucose is taken from a Greek word which means sugar. Actually, it means sweet. Okay, the origin word for glucose means sweet, which means it's a sugar. It's a six carbon sugar, and it's physiologically important because when it is in blood, it is called blood glucose. You know what are the blood glucose levels? Basic. What are the basic blood glucose levels? Anyone? All of you are mute. Please unmute yourself. Otherwise, it sounds like I am teaching myself.
No idea, sir.
No, sir, we don't know.
कभी ग्लूकोज चेक हुआ है घर में किसी का? So there has to be like कि someone has high blood glucose level, someone has low blood glucose level. So one thing which I'm telling you is glucose levels in blood fluctuates. It's different and in different conditions, and of course it makes sense, right? When you eat food, what do you think? When should be the level of glucose highest in your blood? Use your logic and tell me. You have read digestion, you have read absorption. So when do you think the blood glucose level in a normal human will be the highest? At which time of the day?
So time means the process at this.
Time means
Digestion.
dependent on your eating, because glucose is only related to eating, right? It is not related to day or night. It is not like the melanin formation in our body that if you go out in the sun, why we get tanned in the sun? Do you know? Just it's a diagram,
Melanin.
but you know why it happens?
Melanin.
Yes, we produce a lot of melanin. So that is light dependent. Okay.
So when this
Glucose is feeding dependent. So you tell me when the glucose level will be highest according to you, logically.
when glucose is absorbed by the cells.
So if it is absorbed by the cells, blood glucose level is going to drop, because now
No,
the
sorry. Assimilation.
assimilation is breaking down glucose into pyruvate. Again, blood glucose level is going to drop. Absorption.
So then, what is that process in which the blood carries?
Absorption. It is called absorption. We absorb the glucose from intestine into the blood. Our villi they absorb the glucose and put them into the blood, and it circulates in the blood before it gets uptaken by the cells, and before it is assimilated and broken down into in respiration process. So just after the absorption, which some happens around a couple of hours. So after 2 hours of eating your food, it doesn't happen instantly. It's not like जैसे ही आपने लंच किया आधे घंटे बाद आप अपना ग्लूकोज टेस्ट करोगे तो बढ़ जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं होता है. Because that process also takes time, because first the food gets digested, it gets into the stomach, and it takes time to reach the intestine, right? The whole digestion process takes around 4 to 5 hours. In the middle of it, around 2 hours after eating, the blood glucose level starts rising, because every glucose molecule which is in the intestine is now going into the blood through our intestinal absorption. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So just 2 hours after eating, our blood glucose is highest, and it can be around 180. Okay, and when we say 180 what? So the unit is very important. 180 milligram per deciliter of the blood, mg per dl. So you should know what does this mean. Milligram of glucose per deciliter of blood. Okay.
So this is the highest.
This is the highest for a normal person that it goes after eating the food. Because there is one question which is a very important thinking based question. Why there is a cap? बहुत ज़्यादा खाना खा लिया, आधा प्लेट बिरयानी खाई तो शायद इतना हो, 2 प्लेट बिरयानी खा ली तो ज़्यादा होना चाहिए, बिकॉज नाउ आई एम टेकिंग मोर ग्लूकोज. हर 2 घंटे बाद खाना खा लिया तो और ज़्यादा होना चाहिए. But why there seems to be a physiological limit? It cannot go to, in a normal person, it should not go to 300, 400. So why there is a limit? Who sets the limit in the body?
The villi itself, because it is not that they can
So
do
what
it
do you
for.
think villi is doing, Harshit? How is villi regulating it?
Sir, I basically mean when the blood absorbs glucose from the intestines, there has to be a mechanism, and it cannot be that they can do it to any extent. There has to be an extent, and
Yes, so what do you think is that extent? It's just simple diffusion. For glucose, it's just diffusion. Glucose just comes into the bloodstream from the intestine. There are no special channels associated. And even if there are special channels, you're right that then villi can play a major role by closing those channels. But let's say it's happening by diffusion.
no, if you're taking villi into consideration, it can be as if that
So
there cannot be an infinite number of
villi
villi.
cannot decide to stop absorbing glucose. So this I'm telling you.
No, sir. What I mean is, suppose there are some finite number of villi which are helping in this glucose intake of blood, and so there is a stop to it.
Why? I'm saying why. Like villi is like a gate. So villi has these small openings or receptors through which channels basically, through which a glucose molecules just enters inside the blood. So यहाँ पे intestine है और यहाँ पे blood है. Intestine and blood. And villi is actually, this whole structure is villi. And there are channels through which glucose enters. So how do you think it's regulating? Glucose just can keep entering क्योंकि आपने बहुत खाना खाया तो intestine में बहुत glucose है. And everything gets absorbed. We do not waste in our intestine. So everything comes inside the blood. So this level, how is it maintained? What do you think is happening in the body? Because when you start thinking science, you don't have to remember or mug up. You know what is happening. You know the logics, and it works everywhere. So you are right that villi can, or our intestines can regulate. But think, na? At least give me an answer. It can be a wrong answer, and we'll discuss and we'll get to know the right answer. But think. Arpit, Divyanshi. Why is there a cap?
Sir, तो आपका question basically ये है कि why is there an extent to it?
Why 180? Why for a normal human the limit, physiological limit or the cap is 180 mg per dl. Why doesn't in a normal person it goes to 300 400? Because जितना खाना खाओगे उतना ग्लूकोज खाने में होगा, उतना ग्लूकोज एब्जॉर्ब होना चाहिए और ब्लड में बहुत सारा ग्लूकोज आ जाना चाहिए. This is the normal logic. But what is happening which is keeping it in the tight range and not letting it over go is my question.
सर वो प्रोसेस भी तो होती है दैट ग्लूकोज इज चेंज इनटू ग्लूकागॉन समथिंग, तो वो प्रिवेंट करती है मे बी.
So not glucagon, but you're right. So there is another mechanism. When glucose comes into the blood, one thing is that what regulates is the amount, availability. So how much glucose is available. Another thing is when it enters the blood, inside the blood there is one molecule, very important molecule called insulin, which we have studied already. You know what insulin does? In the disease section we studied about insulin. The diseases which cannot get cured and needs gene therapy. Diabetes is one disease which cannot get completely cured. It can be managed. So what does insulin do?
Prevent the change of something into glucose. I don't know the name.
No. So yes. So when the glucose is in the blood, okay, from the blood it goes into cell, right? So cell has a membrane, and on the membrane, on every cell membrane, this is a normal cell, there are receptors called insulin receptors on the cell. Okay. These insulin receptors, so there is insulin in the blood. So in the blood there are two things. One is insulin and the other is glucose. Okay. This insulin goes and binds to the insulin receptor and tells the cell, this signaling tells that there is glucose present which needs to be absorbed in. So this basically, upon this binding, there are some changes that happen in the membrane and a channel opens through which glucose enters inside the cell. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is the normal functioning of insulin. If you do not have insulin in diabetes, insulin is not there. So nothing is telling the cells that there is a lot of glucose around and take inside the glucose. So glucose keeps on increasing in the blood. And this disease is called diabetes, where the blood sugar level in a normal person reaches up to 300 to 400 in severe cases. And this is a disease. So you understand disease is basically a disorder. Something in the body is not working in order and we get a disease. So once you understand the science behind diseases, it's not very difficult for you to, figure out all the science happening and the biology happening. So insulin tells the cell that there are glucose, uptake the glucose. So when insulin is present, glucose inside the blood does not rise beyond a level because it keeps going inside the cell also, right? So that is why this cap is introduced, and this cap is introduced by constant absorption into the cells. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. सर ये डायबिटीज कौन सी होती है, मैं बहुत कंफ्यूज हो जाता हूँ.
कौन सी मतलब?
सर मतलब एक मेलिटस होती है, एक इंसिपिडस होती है.
Yes, this is mellitus.
Okay, sir.
Diabetes mellitus. Okay. Also called
Lack of insulin, no?
What?
Lack of insulin, no?
Lack of insulin. So if insulin is not there, then nothing will signal the cell. So cells becomes deprived of glucose. Though there is a lot of glucose present in the blood, cells do not get enough glucose for their respiration process, and hence they cannot make lot of energy. Hence every system of the body is affected because every system of the body needs energy, even our immune system. So diabetic patients are prone to infections. Diabetic patients are not very healthy and active. Diabetic patients tend to get breathlessness and get tired and fatigue all the time. Diabetic patients also has a lot of blood related problems. Okay, all because the level of glucose keeps on increasing in the blood. Because अभी हमारे, और ये इस बात का प्रूफ, एक और प्रूफ है कि हमारी इंटेस्टाइन्स कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकती ग्लूकोज अपटेक. ऐसा होना चाहिए ना कि अगर ग्लूकोज बहुत बढ़ रहा है ब्लड में तो हमारा इंटेस्टाइन एब्जॉर्ब करना ही बंद कर दे, वो इंटेस्टाइन में ही रहे और एक्सक्रीट आउट हो जाए, राइट?
Yes, sir.
But this doesn't happen, right? And if that was happening, नो वन विल एवर बी डायबिटिक, चाहे इंसुलिन ना हो तो भी डायबिटिक नहीं होंगे, बट अगेन एवरी वन विल डाई बिकॉज इंसुलिन नहीं होगा और ग्लूकोज जैसे ही बढ़ने लग जाएगा तो इंटेस्टाइन्स एब्जॉर्ब करना बंद कर देंगे, तो ग्लूकोज और वो सेल में तो एनीवेज नहीं जा रहा है, राइट? सो द प्रॉब्लम इज नॉट दैट it's in the blood or not, the problem is also that whether it's going inside the cell or not. So that's why insulin is very important, very crucial. Do you understand everything
Yes,
about?
sir. So I had a question. How does this lack of insulin problem is created?
Yes, so insulin is produced by some insulin producing cells, IPCs, insulin producing cells, and they are present in pancreas. So pancreas produce insulin and sends the insulin into the blood. Now there are, and as I told you, insulin is a protein, right?
Yes, sir.
Every enzyme and every this thing working is a protein. And how are proteins formed? Central dogma.
Yes, sir. Central organ.
DNA to
mRNA
RNA
to RNA.
and RNA to protein. So there are two ways we can have lack of insulin. If the DNA or the gene for insulin is faulty, right? If there is some problem with the gene, the RNA will be faulty and the protein produced will be faulty or will not be produced, will be non-functional protein. Because for protein also the structure and the sequence is very important. So if there is a fault in the structure, the insulin will not work. It will not go and bind to the receptor because the structure is the major thing to interact with the receptor. Again, going back to my point that in biology, interactions are very important and these interactions are based on structure. Is it clear?
Sir, तो ऐसे तो अगर ये this is a genetical disorder then.
It can be. So one way is that your gene is faulty and it's not always genetical, maybe after your birth. So it is genetical if your parents before your birth were diabetic, then you chances of you carrying that faulty gene, one faulty gene from one of the parents is more. Chances are even more if both your parents are diabetic before your birth, which means the chances of you getting both the faulty genes are even more. So in that case, you can have a neonatal diabetic condition, like by birth you can be diabetic. Okay. For those people, right from the birth, you need insulin, and for that, what they do is they make a cut somewhere in the around the major artery and just put a catheter in it and just keep giving insulin shots once a day or twice a day for the rest of their lives. So you have to administer insulin from outside. अभी अगर रोज 2 बार चाहिए दिन में इंसुलिन तो यू कैन नॉट यूज इंजेक्शंस ऑल द टाइम, राइट? कितनी बार शरीर में छेद करोगे? So a cannula type of thing is fitted in the body like forever. So it can be, yes, genetic. Second thing is it can also happen that you had normal genes which mutated and got faulty after your birth due to some substance abuse or some kind of mutation that happened in your DNA. Mutations are spontaneous, I told you, right? You remember?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that also can happen. Third thing is that there is some disease caused in the pancreas. This organ becomes faulty and stops making insulin. So if this organ is not working properly, and it has nothing to do with gene now and nothing to do with your mutation, but this organ is not working properly. Organs can also fail to work. Like kidneys fail to work over excessive use of alcohol, right? Renal failures happen. And even those who are not non-alcoholic, for them also kidneys, renal diseases happen. So if there is an inflammation in pancreas, which is called pancreatitis, if that happens, then also you will have lack of insulin in your body and you will become diabetic. Is it clear?
सर तो अभी देखा जाए तो काफी population of the world is suffering from this diabetes. उसका reason क्या है? Major reason क्या है?
So the major reason is lifestyle. Like if you see, second major reason, lifestyle and genetics is comparable now, because those who once get diabetes is a management disease, so people don't के वरी अबाउट इट दैट मच. आप डायबिटिक हैं, अच्छा जी ठीक है, आपसे चीनी कम खाएंगे, चाय में खीर में चीनी नहीं डलेगी, दिस इज हाउ दे टेक डायबिटीज. So this is how this is also propagated because it cannot be cured, so it keeps on propagating. और पिछले 50 सालों के अंदर if you see the trend, a lot of first generation people have given diabetes to second generation, and now it is being passed on to the third generation. So genetics along with lifestyle is the combined major reason for diabetic patients around us.
So you mean to say that majority of the population living today is diabetic? मतलब वो hindered है पर है वो diabetic.
Majority of the population who is diabetic and living today, मैं उनका reason बता रहा हूँ. Like majority of the population means out of 700 crore people in the world, I'm not saying that 400 crore people are diabetic. Diabetic people are very less, like as compared to the total population of the world, everyone is not diabetic. But those who are diabetic, out of that 100%, the majority reason is lifestyle and genetics from their previous generation. Is it clear?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes, so that is what I'm saying. Okay. So हमने थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे लड़ाई झगड़े घोच पोच मचा दिया है, but okay, cool. So we understood how this cap is maintained. Is it clear?
Yes,
Just
sir.
to note something. Can I just clear this part of
Yes.
the diabetic thing which we discussed? Okay, and just so the question which I asked in between was why there is a cap, and you have to understand this because that is the science. And see, everything is related. Insulin again came back in this section. Okay. So now going back to the basics of glucose, we are studying glucose. So this is the highest for a normal person, which is after 2 hours after eating. What will be the lowest? When will be the glucose level lowest? Tell me. Low कब होगा?
Assimilation.
Yes, which is in terms of eating, which is when you are fasting or just before the meal. Because when you are fasting or just before the meal, your glucose has to be lowest because काफी सारा glucose utilize हो चुका होगा blood से, and there the range is between 70 to 120 mg per dl. Okay. If it goes very low, can it go very low? Like to go higher in a normal,
Yes, sir.
in a normal person to go higher is not is not seen normally because it is regulated. The regulation part we just studied. But is there a cap for low?
Yes, sir.
Like it cannot go below 70?
Sir, it can, I guess.
It can. So there is no cap for the low, you mean to say, right?
Yeah. Insulin surge can.
Yes, there can never be a cap for the low because body cannot produce it to maintain the level, and it all only depends on the availability of food. So person who do prolonged fasting, you can only fast till a limit. You cannot fast beyond that. You cannot go beyond certain limit because if your blood glucose level drops, you can go into a sudden state of like shock. जिसे बोलते हैं like lack of glucose shock. So if it goes below 60 or 50 for in some patients, actually our body keeps a very good reserve of glucose. So let me tell you, when we eat in a day, the amount of food which we eat in a day is enough to keep us alive for a week. You know that? So if you all of a sudden stop eating, you are not going to die the next day. You will survive for a week. Of course, you will be very weak, tired, you will stop moving, you will feel like subconscious, but you will not die. Because to maintain your body or cells, because of insulin tells the cells to take glucose from the blood. They take a lot of glucose but do not utilize all the glucose in one go. They utilize as per the body demands, as per our demand for energy comes. Suppose you are very active and doing exercise, so your body is burning a lot of glucose, which we say in terms of calories. We are burning calories, right? But we are also burning glucose. And if your body is just in a normal state, you are eating and doing this the normal chores of the day, then your body is burning glucose in a very stipulated manner. So it keeps reserves. But after around 1 week of fasting, like someone does not get food, then the blood glucose or the glucose in the cells drops below a level where body cannot survive. You know which organ requires the most glucose, the most energy and oxygen? Which is that organ? What do you think? Which organ must be utilizing the most fraction of energy in our body?
It's either the brain or the liver.
It is the brain. It has to be the brain because brain is controlling everything that is happening, even the liver. Okay. So brain utilizes around 20% of oxygen for this glycolysis process alone. Okay. So beyond a certain limit, we get into a glucose shock, which is called hypoglycemic shock. What does the word hypoglycemic means to you? Harshit?
Hypo means less and glycemia corresponds to glucose level.
Yes, glycemic means glucose. So hypo means less. So the shock is known as hypoglycemic shock, which the body undergoes, and it also affects brain strongly because once brain stops getting energy, it stops working, and the patient undergoing hypoglycemic shock can go in a sudden state of brain arrest, or which we call as coma, where the brain stops working. You know, so this can happen in a certain. So we know that glucose is very important.
सर कैन यू रिपीट से मेरा नेटवर्क इशू हो रहा था.
Okay, I was just saying that. So you told me, I think it was you before you just popped out, that there is no cap for the low, right? It can go very low. So if a person is starving and is on less reserves of glucose, then after some time the person can go into a hypoglycemic shock. Hypo means low, glycemic means glucose in the body, and the shock means because of this condition of hypoglycemia, there is a shock in the body, and this affects brain the most because brain utilizes the most energy. Okay, around 20% of the oxygen which we inhale is used by the brain alone for the process of generating energy and glycolysis. Okay, and the brain can go a sudden state of shock, which can sometimes leads to coma, brain arrest. Is it clear, Arpit?
सर सो ये कोमा को लॉन्ग टर्म होगा या शॉर्ट टर्म ही होगा?
It depends. Like it can, if you can resuscitate the brain again by providing it with glucose, it can. It depends on the damage, the amount of damage that has happened. Sometimes, you know, people under hypoglycemic shock after certain treatment and giving intravenous glucose recovers well. But sometimes, if the shock and the lack of energy and lack of oxygen starts killing the brain, so from the moment you stop breathing or you stop getting oxygen, cells start dying after some time. So it also depends on the extent of damage. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So we know that it can be around. So what is the normal physiological range? This is asked in your medical entrances. Now you can tell me the normal physiological range. It always has to be a range. It cannot be one thing. Normal physiological range is 80 to 120. Remember it always. 80 to 120 mg per dl is your normal physiological.
So the same is for blood pressure as well.
What?
The same is for blood pressure as well, but just to give you.
Yeah, that is beat. That blood pressure thing is like your the pressure of the blood, which is governed by the output of the heart. Okay.
Nisa, I mean to say that they both lie in the same range.
Numbers are same. You can remember it like that. So sometimes in some books you will also find the physiological ranges between 90 to 110, just to make it look different from the blood pressure, so you don't get confused. So this is more tighter. This is a little less tighter, right? 90 to 110 के बीच में. 80 थोड़ा low हो जाएगा, 120 थोड़ा high हो जाएगा. But we already know that before the meal in the body it can be 70. So we are always sometimes लाइक खाना खाए हुए 4 घंटा हो गया, लंच थोड़ा लेट करने वाले हैं आप, तो यू आर इन अ स्टेट वेयर इट हैज़ टू बी अराउंड 70-80, राइट, विच इज़ फाइन.
No, sir. I meant to ask that the range is the same for both blood pressure and this
Yes,
glucose level.
there is
So, is
nothing.
there a relation
No,
between?
no, no. There is no correlation. It's just a coincidence.
Okay, sir.
That's why I'm saying that in a lot of books you will also find 90 to 110, the range of a normal blood glucose level. It has nothing to
Okay.
do with the blood pressure. Okay. The pressure of the blood solely depends on the beating and the amount of volume coming out of your heart.
Yes, sir.
Is it fine? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, coming back to glucose, so this is something that you have to understand. Now we were studying this. Now what is glucose? So this structure, what does it tells us? To which class does glucose belong? This is again one question that is important and asked. So we are just covering basics today. So glucose is saccharide or carbohydrate, right? We know that
Yes.
glucose come under carbohydrates. And specifically it comes under the category of monosaccharides. The word mono means one. So there's this one unit, which is 1 unit of glucose, one molecule of glucose. It is called monosaccharides. Now monosaccharides can together form bigger molecules upon chemical interactions and can form polysaccharides. So will you remember it belongs to monosaccharides and carbohydrates?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now how do they form polysaccharides? That is interaction. So now we are coming to interactions because now structures are becoming important. So for interaction, let me come to this page and let me draw again this structure. So this time I'm just keeping the CH2OH closed. Okay. And then there is one carbon here, then another carbon here, 4, 5, and one oxygen. Okay. And I'm taking this carbon for example, it will have one OH, right, and one H. Rest of the structures is clear to you, right?
Yes, sir.
And let me make another molecule, CH2OH. So you have to just remember that there are these structures. Once you read enough about it, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5 6. And now let's take this carbon here. This carbon also will have one OH and one H. So now I'm going to make H, right? Is it clear? So two glucose molecules, which are monosaccharides, can actually inside the body under circumstances, they can interact and form a polysaccharide, which is called maltose. Okay. So maltose is formed where you see this if I take one H from here.
सर अभी हम रीजन नहीं पढ़ना कि इंटरेक्ट हो क्यों रहे हैं.
हाँ हम रीजन पढ़ने वाले हैं, बट मैं पहले आपको बता रहा हूँ इंटरेक्शन होता क्या. So this
Okay.
H2O comes out. Okay. And because this H2O comes out, it forms a maltose. Now, is it clear maltose कैसा दिखेगा?
Yes, sir.
So it will be like this. This C will be connected with the O bond. So the O will remain here and it will be connected to the other carbon. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
So this is the structure of a maltose. So what is so two molecules of glucose, when they lose one water molecule, they form a maltose. So you know that maltose is, so you can see from this reaction that maltose is actually a more saturated and dehydrated form of glucose. Dehydrated by dehydration I mean it lost water. Is it right?
Yes, sir.
And this interaction where glucose, now it's a polysaccharide because there are two monosaccharides. So maltose is actually a polysaccharide. It's still a carbohydrate. What about fructose? You use the word fructose. What do
Sir,
you think?
वो isomer होता है. I don't recall the structure, but it is not acid. Till I know. अच्छा हाँ sir, yes. I guess ये कोई ketone होता है.
What?
Sir,
But
I guess
I did not. Huh.
इसमें शायद C double bond आता है कहीं.
Yeah, so it's just an isoform of glucose, but still a monosaccharide.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
सर वन थिंग आई हैड टू आस्क कि जो माल्टोज का स्ट्रक्चर है तो इसमें जो कार्बन नंबर हम यूज कर रहे हैं दैट हैज टू बी स्पेसिफिक नाउ.
Yes, that will be interaction dependent. So I'll talk about the interactions, the details later. But I'm just briefing you to what happens. And this kind of interactions happens in all biomolecules where they lose water and form bonds and form multiple units of monomers to polymers. So here also monomer means one unit and polymer means two units. So monosaccharide and polysaccharide. Now this will be called, what reaction will it be called? Simply,
A dehydration.
yes, it's called dehydration reaction. Now, can we make glucose back from maltose?
Yes, adding water.
Yes, exactly. So it's simple. So biomolecules always are very convenient in reaction, and this reaction back needs adding water. So you add water, it will go and this will be formed. So it's a dynamic reaction. It can go both ways. And what will be this? What will this interaction called in terms of chemical?
Hydration.
No, it will be
Hydration.
what?
Hydration.
It's called hydrolysis.
Oh yes, yes. Yeah, hydrolysis.
Hydration is a process of hydrating things, like you hydrate yourself by drinking water. But what is happening is hydrolysis. Why lysis? Because in the presence of water, a molecule is breaking down into two. Hydrolysis. This is one molecule. You give water to it, it will break down into two molecules. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
In the presence of water, you are breaking down a macromolecule, sorry, a polymer into two monomers. It's called hydrolysis. Lysis means breakdown, hydro means water. So biology is all about terminologies mostly. So would you like to draw this thing? Just remember that these are the two interactions we began with. So I'm just pruning you to the basics because now we will go to higher concepts after this. Okay. One another thing is, in the beginning I asked that is glucose the only energy source? So we got to know that no. Fructose is also an energy source for one kind of a cell, which is sperms. And apart from energy, where do you think glucose is present? Is there any other use of glucose?
Sir, समझा नहीं question.
Like, what is the other role of glucose in our body? What can be the other role? Because whatever we are going to study and discuss in context of glucose is going to hold for a lot of other substances. So you have to just understand the logic. Glucose blood से body में आता है, right? Cells के अंदर जाता है. But I also told you that cells do not utilize all the glucose all the time. So what do they do to the glucose? उसको glucose form में ही cell में रखना is not a good idea, right?
Glucose can also, I think it is also used as catalyst for a few biomolecular reactions.
No. Catalysts are something which increase the pace of a reaction. Glucose is itself used in the reaction, so it cannot be catalyst. So for using catalyst, which means you are giving all the ingredients and then you provide something and the reaction rapids up. Sometimes heat act as a catalyst for a lot of chemical reactions. If you heat the system, all the reactions start happening fast, but not as catalyst. So I am asking you कि cells के अंदर glucose है. Now think like a biologist. There is a lot of glucose available inside the cell. Okay, so this is a cell, and there are a lot of glucose molecules which I'm going to draw with this blue dot. So these are the glucose molecules present inside the cell. और बहुत सारा ग्लूकोज बाहर भी है क्योंकि you are daily eating food. So how will this dynamic work? What do you think? The glucose will keep on entering the cell if you have normal insulin in your body, and which happens because blood के अंदर इसको नहीं रख सकते हैं. Blood के अंदर अगर ये बढ़ेगा तो डिजीज हो जाएगी. बट सेल के अंदर भी तो बढ़ सकता है ना. रोज सेल के अंदर क्यों नहीं बढ़ता है? ग्लूकोज इंटॉलरेंस हो सकता, लाइक ग्लूकोज टॉक्सिसिटी हो सकती है, बहुत ज्यादा ग्लूकोज सेल के अंदर आएगा. सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक बॉडी माइट बी डूइंग? एंड इट डज द सेम थिंग फॉर एवरी बायोमोलिक्यूल इन द बॉडी. सो यू जस्ट हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द लॉजिक. आपके पास बहुत सारा पैसा हो गया, ठीक है, क्या करेंगे आप अर्पित? दिस इज द करेंसी लेट्स से बॉडी का, आप क्या करेंगे?
Give and take.
Yes, Devanshi. Give and take. Give and take to whom?
To blood.
We cannot give glucose back to blood. That is the problem. Blood already is saying कि take my glucose because intestines में आप रोज दिन में 3 बार खाना खाते हैं. intestines के अंदर ग्लूकोज आता है, वो एब्जॉर्ब होता है. अब intestine बोलता है मुझे कुछ नहीं पता, मेरा बस एक ही काम है, I have to give it to blood. And blood is like, oh ठीक है, let insulin come, it will signal the cells and then I will give it to cells. Now you are saying you give it back to blood, then तो problem हो जाएगा. But you're right, there has to be a give and take, but to whom?
Cell organelles.
Cell?
Cell organelles.
Cell organelles, no. Which cell organelle you will give glucose to keep? And again, the problem is, आप कहीं भी रख दो, if there is oxygen available, which will be available because oxygen just can diffuse in and out of the cell. And if oxygen is available, glucose is available, it will break down glucose into pyruvate and energy will be formed. You cannot just keep forming energy all the time. You know, क्या करोगे उस energy का अगर utilize ही नहीं हो रहा है तो? And the body will just disappear like exhaust. So what Devyanshi said still holds point, but Devyanshi, you have to think a little more carefully as a biologist. Come on, you can do this. I try to use an analogy कि आपके पास अगर बहुत ज़्यादा पैसा हो गया है, like you currency, real currency in your hand is there, what will you do? You cannot keep holding it all the time and moving everywhere with like lot of gaddis of notes. What will you
We'll
do?
use a bank to keep money.
What?
Bank.
Bank, exactly, right, perfect. Can you think of something like that in the same context of glucose in our body? We are getting food every day, कोई कमी नहीं है हमें ग्लूकोज की. What the body will do? What do you think it will do?
It will store it somewhere.
Exactly, right. Now what
Liver.
is that? It cannot be blood like Devyanshi
The
said.
liver.
Exactly, it has to be liver. So excess of glucose is given to the bank, which here is liver. But how do you think when you give money to bank, so you go and deposit, let's say 10,000 to your bank, and all the 10,000 was in 100 rupee currency. So what do you think bank does? It takes that thing and keep it somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Your paper money, no, it's not like that. Your paper money gets converted to digital money. So whatever you see in your account are just digits. If someone has 10 crore in their bank account, it does not mean that their bank is having a room or a locker where they have kept 10 crore in notes. It's not like that. So your paper
Yes,
currency changes into digital currency, and all you have now are digits in your accounts. You do not have paper. You understand? You can again go back to bank and say, okay, I want to withdraw. So when you withdraw, the bank arranges that money for you and gives it back to you. Again, there is a conversion from digital money to paper money because you want paper money. You can also go to bank and say, transfer from my account to this account. So paper does not come in between. Only digits are transferred from your account to some other account. So all these online payments happens, which we call digital money. So we are living in a world where we do not see paper money a lot in bigger transactions, right? Same thing liver does. So when we send glucose and when we give glucose to the liver cannot just take glucose and keep it as glucose inside itself, because liver is also an organ और liver के अंदर भी cells हैं, right? अगेन अगर वो ग्लूकोज के ही फॉर्म में अपने सेल्स के अंदर ग्लूकोज को स्टोर करके रखेगा तो हमने बस प्रॉब्लम को शिफ्ट कर दिया है. सपोज दिस इज द सेल ऑफ योर लंग्स, दिस प्रॉब्लम गॉट शिफ्टेड टू द सेल ऑफ द लिवर्स. अब यहाँ भी यही प्रॉब्लम है कि इतना ग्लूकोज को कैसे रखेंगे. सो इट कन्वर्ट्स ग्लूकोज into one molecule called glycogen. Remember this term because this is a very important molecule, glycogen.
Yes, sir.
Abhi, now again use your logic. I'm just asking you questions and telling you to use logic because this is what going to help you a lot in every field. What do you think is glycogen as compared to glucose, which is readily reacted readily reactive under the process of respiration? What do you think is glycogen?
Just as digit a compact form of to keep.
Compact, it's not compact, it's a more denser and a multimeric form of glucose. A lot of glucose molecule come together to form one glycogen. So it's like a polysaccharide. Again, glucose was a monosaccharide. I gave you one example to make a polysaccharide by converting glucose to maltose. तो maltose में 2 glucose होते हैं बस. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
So this is monosaccharide and this is a polysaccharide. Now tell me in terms of reactivity, what does your logic say? Should glycogen be reactive or non-reactive or stable? It should be less reactive, right? It should be not reacting with oxygen and
Yes,
forming energy. That is the point we are storing it. We need something that can be stored without affecting the cell. So glucose को inactive करके नहीं रख सकते, तो glucose को convert कर दो glycogen में and then store glycogen in the liver. So a lot of glycogen is in the liver. If you must have seen someone who is non-vegetarian and also diabetic, ऐसा कोई पता है आपको अपनी लाइफ में? Just don't tell me who he is or who she is, but just you don't.
No.
Yes, Devyanshi.
No.
No. Okay. So if you know someone who's a non-vegetarian and a diabetic, they are often said that never to eat liver of any organism, like not of the chicken or the mutton. Do not eat the liver part. It's for the same reason, because liver has a lot of reserves of glycogen. When you will eat liver, it will go and get digested and broken down into glucose, and you will have a lot of glucose surge in your blood, and then your blood glucose will increase, and you are diabetic, you do not have insulin, you will be at a problem. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So simple logic. Never utilize liver of any organism if you are diabetic. So glucose gets converted into glycogen, as in stored in the liver. याद रहेगा?
Sir, तो इसका भी तो कुछ extent होगा ना?
Extent of what? Extent of storing.
Yes, sir.
No. So that is the beauty of this system, that you can store a lot of energy in terms of glycogen in the liver. So if you see a schematic view of glycogen, okay. So glycogen, मैं आपको यहाँ पे बनाता हूँ. I'll use one green color, let's say. So in glycogen, there is one core. So at the central core, there is one molecule called glycogenin. So this is the core of glycogen, where this molecule glycogenin is present. Okay. It's not like the polysaccharide I made. It's not like maltose. It's not a maltose like reaction, because वहाँ पे एक limit है. Maltose is 2. So you will say कि glucose, एक glycogen में कितने glucose हो सकते हैं, right? You know,
Yes.
one granule of glycogen can have as much as 30,000 glucose units. मजा आ गया सुन के, right? Now I will use another color. So इस ग्लाइकोजेनिन से अटैच्ड होते हैं ग्लूकोज के molecules, 6 carbon molecules. So I'm representing the molecules like this, and it forms a chain. Because they, you can, to form a chain of glucose you just need to take water out, right? Take water out, दो का चेन बनाओ, take another water out और चेन बनाओ. ऐसे करते करते इतना चेन बना दो कि the center should be glycogenin and radiating from the center should be ऐसे threads of glucose, a lot of glucose. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
These all are single units. So in one glycogen, so this is glucose.
So the glycogen is the singular for glycogen.
It's the core protein. Glycogenin is core protein of glycogen.
Sir, core protein मतलब?
कोर मीन्स जो सेंटर में होता है, जैसे हीमोग्लोबिन में कोर प्रोटीन होता है, देयर इज सेंटर में देयर इज वन थिंग विच इज इन द कोर. सो कोर मीन्स जैसे अर्थ का कोर होता है ना, अर्थ हैज अ सेंट्रल मोल्टन कोर, ऐसी इसका स्ट्रक्चर होता है. दैट ग्लाइकोजेनिन इज द कोर प्रोटीन ऑफ ग्लाइकोजेन.
So this entire structure is glycogen and आपने एक एक पार्ट को लेबल कर रखा है.
यस, सो दिस एंटायर थिंग इज कॉल्ड ग्लाइकोजेन. ग्लाइकोजेन में कोर में एक प्रोटीन होता है विच इज कॉल्ड ग्लाइकोजेनिन, और उस कोर से अटैच्ड होते हैं ग्लूकोज मॉलिक्यूल्स. एंड हाउ मच दे कैन बी? अप टू 30,000, which is a very big amount, right? So up to 30,000 of glucose molecules can be present in one granule of glycogen attached to one core protein of glycogenin. Is it clear? This is asked in your entrance exams. That थोड़ा ये इस फॉर्म में भी आ सकता है क्वेश्चन कि दैट if one molecule of glucose provides 0.4 joule energy, or let's say something, that one granule of glycogenin will one granule of glycogen will produce how much energy. So range, they will give a range, but you should know that you will always use for standard that 30,000 तक हो सकता है. So now you think, और एस इस and glycogen के भी millions and millions of granules can be stored in liver. Now do you know कि when we fast, why don't we die for weeks?
Yes, sir.
सेल के पास भी रिजर्व होता है, और जब सेल रिजर्व्स नहीं रख पाता तो वो क्या करता है? लिवर को दे देता है. एंड देन लिवर मेक्स वेरी कॉम्पैक्ट एंड डेंस रिजर्व्स ऑफ इट एंड इट स्टोर्स. नाउ you are eating every day, okay? So this glycogen will be just present in the liver, right? Glycogen का कोई काम नहीं है. Suppose you started fasting one day, तो जिस पॉइंट अब ब्लड ग्लूकोज लेवल ड्रॉप होना शुरू हो जाएगा. Is it right?
Yes, sir.
तो उस केस में what we can do? I asked you in the beginning that is there a limit, is there a cap for the lower value? You said no. I said I supported it because in उस वक्त तक आपको ये information नहीं पता थी, अब आपको ये information पता है. So do you think body can synthesize glucose?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It can now bring back glucose into the system, because when you are fasting and your blood glucose goes very low, there is a signal that goes to the liver from the brain which is said release glycogen and break it down back into glucose, because and then send it back to every cell through blood. Because to send it back to every cell there is only one way, the highway. And what is the highway of the body? Blood. So glycogen is converted back to glucose in the liver and then sent back into the blood to maintain the blood glucose level. Is it clear? So the blood glucose level can also be bring back by the body. And what do you think this process will be called? This process is called, remember it comes also in boards, it's called glycogenolysis. lysis. Again, it's terminology. ग्लाइकोजन को तोड़ रहे हैं, ग्लाइकोजिनोलाइसिस. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So now I ask you, what is the difference between glycolysis and glycogenolysis? A very standard question that comes in board. So tell me, what is glycolysis and what is
Glycolysis is the when we break glucose.
sorry?
Sir, glucose को जब break करेंगे उसको glycolysis बोलेंगे.
Okay, and into what?
Glycogen.
Into, not into glycogen, into pyruvate. We cannot break glucose into glycogen.
अरे sorry, हाँ वो तो form होगा next sir. Yes sir, yes.
Okay, and then glycogen can be broken back into glucose called glycogenolysis. Now my question is, when we convert glucose to glycogen, what is that called? Anyone? Can you think of this?
Sir, एक second सोचना पड़ेगा.
That's a homework. So write it down. Find this. So this I will take later on in this series. After 2-3 classes, we will come to this thing because this I have planned in some special way. So glucose, when gets converted into glycogen, what is that process called? Just find it out. Abhi, we will study about, in the beginning, we'll talk about glycogenolysis and glycolysis. Glycolysis, you know, glycogenolysis is this. So blood glucose can be brought back, which means this is how our body protects itself from going into a hypoglycemic shock. But still कुछ लोग hypoglycemic shock में चले जाते हैं. Which means that they have depleted both their cell reserve of glucose and then they have also depleted the glycogen reserve. Which means it can only happen when the person is hungry, fasting, and also stuck in an adverse condition. So if you are hungry and fasting and you are stuck in a normal environmental condition like normal temperature hai, normal sab kuch hai, then the chances of you going into hypoglycemic shock is less. But suppose you are hungry, out of food, out of fuel, out of heat, and you are stuck in a let's say a mountain which is ice frozen, then your body needs heat to maintain your processes, also needs energy to maintain your body heat, right? अब बॉडी पे बहुत बर्डन है तो एक हफ्ते के अंदर या उससे भी बहुत पहले यू विल डिप्लीट एवरीथिंग, योर रिजर्व्स of glucose and also your reserves of glycogen, even though glycogen can have millions and billions of glucose molecules stored in this form, but it is possible. That's why people only go in a hypoglycemic shock under very adverse conditions. And this is one of the questions in entrance, that there is another shock called hyperglycemic shock. Now can someone tell me what is this?
Excess of glucose.
Yes. Which do you think is more common? Which can
Hyper.
happen more easily?
Hyper.
Hyper.
Hyper or hypo?
Hyper.
Hyper.
Hyper, right. So this is more common and it can happen more readily. It happens to diabetic patients because, but still मेरा क्वेश्चन आपसे ये है, आपने बोल दिया हाइपर बड़े आसानी से, बट मैंने आपको बताया कि ग्लूकोज जब भी बढ़ जाए इट कैन बी कन्वर्टेड इनटू ग्लाइकोजन एंड सेंड इनटू लिवर. Then why does hyperglycemic shock is more common? Yes, Devyanshi?
Liver may also have some problem.
No, liver is fine. Only the person, so diabetic patients liver is fine. अगर liver भी खराब है तो अभी तो मतलब you are just shutting all the doors for the patient. So the liver is fine, still you can go
Or
into,
excessive insulin surge.
insulin is not there, insulin is not at all there. अगर excessive insulin आ जाएगा तो फिर तो hyperglycemic shock हो ही नहीं सकता.
अरे sorry sir, मैं उल्टा बोल गया.
Insulin is not there, but and person is diabetic, lot of glucose is there, and you said that it can go in a hyperglycemic shock easily than going into a hypoglycemic shock, because जब भी ग्लूकोज की कमी होगी ग्लाइकोजन से तोड़ के ग्लूकोज बना लेंगे. तो उल्टा भी तो कर सकते हैं. देन व्हाट डू यू थिंक, व्हाट इज द फैक्टर? टाइम इज द फैक्टर. ओके, टू कन्वर्ट ग्लूकोज इनटू ग्लाइकोजन टेक्स टाइम. देख रहे हैं ये इतना बड़ा मल्टीमेरिक यूनिट बनाने के लिए अ लॉट ऑफ ग्लूकोज हैज टू come together and then undergo dehydration reaction to form chains, and then they have to attach to glycogenin in the core. So this is a very slow process. It keeps on happening every day, daily basis पे ये होता रहता है और आपके लिवर के अंदर ग्लाइकोजन कन्वर्ट होता रहता है. Breaking it back into glucose is comparatively faster. You understand? So if you have a lot of, otherwise तो फिर कभी भी बिना इंसुलिन के भी लोगों को दिक्कत नहीं होती ना. अगर ये प्रोसेस बहुत फास्ट हो सकता, converting glucose into glycogen, then you know whenever there is a glucose load you convert it into glycogen, but it's a slow process, and also it can only happen when your glucose is transported to liver. So दो bottlenecks हैं. One, the glucose has to reach liver. So ऐसा तो नहीं होगा ना कि ग्लूकोज जो इंटेस्टाइन से ब्लड में आया वो सीधा लिवर में पहुंच जाएगा. इट विल गो टू एवरी ऑर्गन, राइट? And on a daily basis, slowly it is going to liver. So the excess glucose keeps on reaching liver, and liver says कि अच्छा पूरी body घूम के आ गए, कहीं भी जगह नहीं मिली, because everywhere there is a lot of glucose. अच्छा, come to me, I'll keep you in a glycogen form. So you understand the bottleneck?
सर वो तो इसका क्या कहते हैं लोएस्ट एक्सटेंट भी है कुछ या नहीं है?
Lowest of what?
सर वही ग्लूकोज लेवल का.
Glucose can go down, but to bring it back is more common. Like it's easy.
नो सर, द रेंज आई एम आस्किंग अबाउट. इससे पहले आपने कहा था कि नहीं है, you supported the fact that
It can go below, but to go below, I already told you that to go into a hypoglycemic shock, that your glucose goes below like 40, 50 or 30, it means that your reserves of glycogen is also exhausted. This reserve is also exhausted.
yes
So
sir.
normally body tries to bring back everything. So normal person never goes into a, आप नॉर्मली घर में रहते हुए अगर आप फास्टिंग शुरू कर दें, यू विल नॉट गो इनटू हाइपोग्लाइसेमिक शॉक, बट ऑफ कोर्स योर ब्लड ग्लूकोज विल ड्रॉप, बट 70-60 पे जाके वो स्टेबल हो जाएगा और कुछ टाइम तक स्टेबल रहेगा. अचानक से ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आपने खाना छोड़ दिया, अगले दिन वो 70 पे चला गया, उसके अगले दिन 60, फिर 50, फिर 40. नो, it gets stabilized at 70 because अभी glycogen is getting converted into glucose slowly as per your need. Is it clear, Harshit?
Yes sir.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So about the glucose and fructose. So glucose is one sort of polysaccharides, monosaccharides are one sort of biomolecules. The next biomolecule which I am going to cover is, and we are going to do the same things for that also, is lipids. Any idea what are lipids, Divyanshi or Harshit? No. So this is one thing that you have to now forget, because you get a notion from your 9th, 10th when you come into 11th that lipid means fat. No. Lipids, all lipids are not fat molecules. The lipids is a broader class. It only means all the biomolecules which are non-soluble in water. Okay? Fat is one type of lipid. Is one category or one type of lipid. Is it clear? Lipids are much more than fat.
Yes, sir.
So everything which is non-soluble in water and is a biomolecule comes under the category of lipids. Fat are one of them. And in the next class, we are going to first briefly get introduced to lipids. So next class, I'll start lipids just like I started glucose from saccharides. So today we studied one saccharide. We'll take one example and study lipids. When we'll complete the basic introduction of both, then I'll go to evolution and higher interactions. Is it clear?
सर वो एक चीज पूछनी थी.
Yes.
जब इन अ डायबिटिक पर्सन, तो जब ब्लड लेवल शुगर लेवल इंक्रीज होता है ब्लड में, तो होता क्या है, आपने कहा क्या था?
in a diabetic person when sugar level increases in blood, तो क्या
Yes, sir.
होता है? तो ये होता है कि मैंने क्या कहा था, मैंने किस बारे में कहा था, बहुत कुछ कहा था, बट जस्ट टेल मी। सो क्या क्या होता है मैं फिर से बता देता हूँ। सो वन थिंग दैट हैपन्स इज बिकॉज ऑफ लैक ऑफ इंसुलिन द ग्लूकोज स्टेज इन ब्लड एंड डज नॉट एंटर द सेल. So the load in the blood keeps on increasing and the load in the cell keeps on decreasing, right? So a diabetic person will have less respiration happening. Is it right?
Yes, sir.
And because of less respiration, less energy will be produced in the cell,
Yes, sir.
and it will happen across the body in every organ cell. So overall, the body will be very tired, fatigued, lethargic, and very prone
सर ये
to.
तो मैं समझ गया कि सेल को नहीं मिलेगा ग्लूकोज तो दिक्कत
Yes.
आएगी, पर ब्लड में सिर्फ ब्लड में शुगर बढ़ने से क्या होगा?
It will also so it will start affecting the normal concentration of the blood. A lot of glucose molecule in the blood will start affecting the flow of blood, the pressure of blood. So normally you will see that blood pressure and diabetes comes hand in hand, एक के साथ एक free आ जाता है. So people who are
Yes.
diabetic often are very prone to become more prone to become hypertension, like high blood pressure and sometimes very low blood pressure. This happens because it just like you are making the blood denser and denser by adding a lot of glucose molecules in it. And sometimes what happens that when there is a cut or a wound, it does not heal properly and it does not heal fast. Blood clot नहीं होता है और blood फ्लो बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ जाता है डायबिटिक पेशेंट्स में, क्योंकि डायबिटिक पेशेंट्स के अंदर वैसे भी ब्लड का डेंसिटी बहुत बढ़ रहा है, ग्लूकोज इज देयर. सो वेन एवर देर इज अ कट, लॉट ऑफ ब्लड स्टार्ट्स ओजिंग आउट. प्लेटलेट्स उतना प्रेशर झेल नहीं पाते हैं, एंड व्हेन दे ट्राई टू क्लॉट द वुंड दे कैन नॉट क्लॉट द वुंड बिकॉज ऑफ हायर ब्लड प्रेशर. सो द ब्लड कीप्स फ्लोइंग आउट. सो इसलिए डायबिटिक पेशेंट्स को बोला जाता है कि ट्राई टू नॉट हर्ट योर सेल्फ.
Yes, sir, got it.
And if your diabetes level is very high, no surgeon will ever do a surgery on you. So always blood glucose level is checked before any major surgery. So everything makes sense in science. It's not like उनको एक टेस्ट कराना था तो उन्होंने बोल दिया ब्लड टेस्ट करा के आ जाओ सर्जरी से पहले. They want to know how will your blood behave when we are going to cut your body open, and if you are diabetic, तो अभी हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते, आपका सारा ब्लड फ्लो आउट बाहर हो जाएगा and we cannot clot it. सो डायबिटिक पेशेंट्स को पहले डायबिटीज कंट्रोल करने के लिए बोला जाता है. व्हेन योर डायबिटीज व्हिच मींस योर ब्लड शुगर लेवल इज इन अ कंट्रोलेबल रेंज, देन ओनली अ सर्जरी विल बी परफॉर्म्ड ऑन यू. इज इट क्लियर?
Yes, sir.
So all these things we know, we hear in our daily life, but you don't understand the logic behind it. So these classes are for this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please read about lipids. Okay, introductory thing, what are lipids? Just like Devanshi said, they are fats. They are not all fats. So if they are not fats, what are they? What are the other kind of lipids? Just read introduction and then we'll discuss about lipids in the next class. Any doubts in today's class?
No, sir.
Okay,
No,
then
sir.
thank you people. Now it
Thank you,
is
sir. It was
Thank
wonderful.
you, sir.
here. See you on next
Good
Wednesday.
night.